Hey guys, the soup I'm gonna share today is turkey and vegetable chili. I've been making this for years. I think it was a Jillian Michaels recipe that I found in an email or something. I have not been able to find this recipe since then. I can't find it online. So I'm gonna have to type it up and put it below. Not a big deal, I definitely wanna share it with you guys. It is really full of vegetables. It does have beans in it. I will tell you, I don't put beans in it. I never have. And here's why I think I never have done it, and then just kind of caught up with the habit of never putting beans in this recipe. And I've made it a lot. It calls for 8 ounces, which is about half a can of beans, because most cans are about 15 ounces. And I just thought, I think maybe I was lazy and didn't want to open a can and not use all of it. So I just said, yeah, I'm not putting beans in. We've had a lot of beans this week, so I'm not in the mood for any more beans. If you guys want to follow the recipe exactly, go ahead and let me know if you like it. But I love this recipe as it is when I don't put beans in it, so I'm going to stick with it. So that's one change I'm making. And then another change I'm making is it calls for a small red chili. Grocery store did not have that. And I didn't want to put a jalapeno in. Jalapenos, I'm just so bad with spicy food. So I got one of those, probably about this long, a long skinny green pepper. It is a hot pepper, but it's definitely on the mild side compared to a chili pepper and a jalapeno. So that's what I got. I have you'll see the green pepper in there. Also, it calls for a yellow pepper, but I have some leftover red pepper from another recipe that I'm gonna throw in there too. It's just gonna fill it up a little bit more. It might add to the bulk a little bit. Since I'm not putting the beans in, I'm gonna have some red pepper in there. It'll give it more color too. So you guys will see that. So those are some of the changes, the peppers, and then not using beans, but I'll talk through all that as we go. So what I can tell you about this recipe, guys, is with the vegetables, the carrots, the peppers, the onions, the celery, and the tomatoes, there's a lot of chopping, a lot of cutting. So just be prepared for that. But the cool thing is you can, if you have like free time, like let's say you got 5 minutes, chop up the pepper and then, go do something else. And then you can chop up the carrot and you can kind of divide and conquer, and you can even chop up the veggies one day and make the soup the next day if you don't have time to do it. So right now I'm slicing up the carrots. It just called for 1 large carrot to make my life easier, not have to buy a carrot and peel it. I bought a bag of baby carrots because we eat baby carrots around here all the time. And then I'm using like 5 or 6 baby carrots and I'm just cutting them up. So cutting them up into nice little tiny pieces, but it's a lot easier than buying a big bag of carrots, peeling them, scrubbing them and all that stuff, and then just using 1. So that was my easy route. The recipe calls for 12 ounces of ground turkey. I got a package of 16 ounces. It was just sold as a pound. I got all natural, organic ground turkey. I'm just gonna put a pound in. I don't really care. A little extra meat and protein is good with me. So you're supposed to be doing this, browning the turkey, at the same time as you're cooking some of the vegetables. I'm doing one thing at a time. I am trying to get this in during the workday, like between meetings, and it's just easier if I don't have 2 things going on the stove at once so that I don't screw anything up. Okay, I'm just about done browning the turkey. It took about 5 minutes. It was very, very quick. I'm gonna have to drain it. There's a tiny bit of juice and fat in here, but a lot less than if you were to ground beef. Turkey is so much lower in fat, so you don't have all that fat drippings that you have to drain, just a little bit. Okay, so right now I am just browning the pepper, garlic, and onions. Pretty simple. I now have added a little bit of cumin, the carrots, celery, and then the bell peppers. The yellow is all you're supposed to add in there, but I had my red in there as well. Look how colorful and pretty that is. So this has to cook for 5 minutes. While the veggies cook, I have to do a medium dice on tomatoes. I have 4 tomatoes. I have to tell you a funny story. When I bought these at the store yesterday, the lady punched in the wrong code when she weighed these, and it came up as a peach donut. And this is like 2 pounds worth of tomatoes, so 2 pounds worth of peach donut apparently is $12. And I'm like, those are not peach donuts, these are tomatoes. So she didn't know how to avoid it either, so she just had to get a manager to come over and help me, but it was pretty funny. So anyway, got these. I don't know if you guys have one of these things. I guess it's a huller. A huller, it's just like a strawberry huller and a tomato huller. And it is so good to get these, to get the tops out of tomatoes. They come right out. And then now all you do is chop up the tomato. So I'm gonna hull my tomatoes, I'm gonna dice them up, and let me show you. I'm gonna use the same cutting board that I used for the other veggies. See how it has a lip around here? It catches the liquids. That's really important because when I cut these tomatoes, the juice goes everywhere. And if you have just a flat cutting board, you'll have a mess. So I always make sure I use this cutting board when I'm cutting juicy stuff like pineapples and tomatoes. Just a tip if you guys don't have a cutting board like that. Oh, I recommend the huller as well. It's super good. It makes strawberries so easy when you're slicing up, putting them in a salad or something. And the next step is to put the tomatoes in. This is actually the step where the tomatoes and black beans go in together. But since I'm not doing the black beans, all I'm going to add at this point are the tomatoes. I added the tomatoes, and I'm going to talk through this a little bit while I try to stir this up. You guys will notice I have not added any water or broth or any type of juice. I love this recipe for so many reasons. One, it's really healthy. Two, it's so pure. It's a ton of veggies and then ground turkey. I didn't have to open a single can or jar or a carton of chicken or vegetable broth. All of the liquid is going to come from these tomatoes. They're going to cook down, and all the juices are going to come out. It's going to be so juicy. You guys will see it in a little bit when the moisture starts to come out of them, and it gets you actually get a little bit of a broth that you have to burn off to make it thicker. But it's just such a good recipe because there's just so much freshness in here. Nothing canned. I haven't even put any salt in. The only seasoning I put in was half a teaspoon of cumin. It's not much at all, but it's going to have so much flavor from all the veggies. So you can see how much liquid is in there now that the tomatoes have started to cook. I just wanted to show that to you guys. There's a lot of liquid bubbling. So I'm going to keep cooking this so the tomatoes break down a little more and some of that liquid evaporates. So it just ends up being a super thick chili. So what we do now is we remove the pot from heat. We're adding 4 cups of baby spinach. I'm just going to estimate because it really doesn't matter. Okay, got this big tub of spinach here. I'm just going to throw some in. It does not matter. That's maybe 4 cups. So we stir that up. Let it, it'll cook down. The spinach will shrink down in from the heat of the soup. Okay, yeah, guys, it took about 30 seconds for me to stir the spinach in. You can see it doesn't matter how much I put in. If I want more spinach, I could have thrown in more if I wanted. It was really just an estimate. This soup is 4 servings. You can see how much this is. This is a 6-quart pot. So a serving is a pretty hefty serving. I do recommend topping it with Greek yogurt. It's so good. Maybe a little bit of cilantro if you want a little bit of that nice flavor. I love cilantro. It's super duper healthy. There was no salt added to this. There was nothing added. Pepper and cumin. It's amazing. And I cannot wait to eat it.